Okay, let's review ironing. So in order to iron, I have my ironing board. I have an iron here, and I also need to be close to an electrical plug-in. Our iron requires to be plugged in order to work and heat up. So I'm going to take the plug, plug it into the wall, and our iron is going to begin to heat up. We want our iron to be set on a cotton setting or sometimes the highest setting on the iron, okay? Depending on the type of fabric that you're ironing, you will adjust the temperature based on the fabric. In our case, we'll always be ironing cotton, so it's important that we use that cotton setting. While the iron is heating up, I want to hold it by the handle because it will get hot. This part of the plate of the iron is already heating up. I can feel the temperature from quite a distance. And I want to set it down on my ironing board using the base of the iron. So I set it up like this. I want to make sure that the heat plate is not touching anything or close to anything so that I don't burn anything accidentally. Now I have a piece of fabric that I am going to, sorry about that. So you can see that I have my material here. It is quite wrinkled and is in need of an iron. So I placed that out onto my ironing board and I'm going to get ready to give it an iron. My iron has heated up. It is ready for me to use. So I am now going to pick up the iron in my hand. I'm using the hand that I would write with. I'm using my dominant hand. And I'm going to place the iron over top of the fabric with the plate facing down. I'm going to start at one end of my fabric and move across it. So I'm going to start over here. I want to make sure my other hands are out of the way. And I'm just going to gently press the iron onto the fabric. Okay, you kind of gently move it around if needed. Okay, so I'm gently moving my iron across my fabric to try and release those creases and wrinkles. If you end up with a stubborn wrinkle that won't come out, sometimes you need to apply just a little bit firmer pressure or have the iron sit there for a brief moment and try and release that wrinkle. So I'm just moving back. Now you can see that this part of my fabric is laying flat. This part is still wrinkled. And I'm just going to slowly move towards the back of my piece of fabric. So you're letting the iron and the heat do the work. You do not need to be pressing really hard. You're just gently pressing it against the fabric to release and flatten out, straighten out those wrinkles. Okay, so I'm moving back and again, just going back and forth. Occasionally, it's good to tip your iron up, especially if you're using water or steam in your iron. And I'm going to continue to iron our piece of fabric. You may be asking, why do we iron when we're sewing? And it's because you want to match up your seams. You want your fabric to lay flat so that it can feed through your sewing machine easily, and so that your finished product looks very nice and neat. Okay, so again, you can see over here, I have a few spots that require just a little bit more attention. Fold my iron there, gently move it around. Okay. Now when I'm done ironing, I've set the iron back up on its base so that the plate, again, is away from anything because it is hot and the iron is on. All right, the last thing that we want to go over with our iron is the steam or water function. So on our iron, we have a button here and it says steam or it says spray. And so you have to make sure that your iron is on the correct setting, which you can see here. The number 6 shows that little thing of steam coming out of it. matches with this. And so when you want to use your steam or you want to add water, and you would use that for when you have kind of a stubborn crease or you're wanting to release a wrinkle or put in a hard crease, you're going to give that button a push and you're going to see that water has come out, and then you're going to iron over it. It is important that you do so carefully because you can burn yourself as water and heat together create that steam. Okay, and then you're just going to iron that until the water has been absorbed into the fabric. And so now we have a perfectly pressed ironed piece of fabric. The last thing that you're going to do with your iron when you are done using it, you want to make sure again that it's sitting on its base, that the plate is away from anything that is hot, and then you are going to unplug the iron. When you unplug the iron, it has a long cord and we don't want anyone to trip on it, so we wrap it around the ironing board 2 times. So 1, 2, and the plug can just sit beside it. Remember, you don't want to touch the iron as it is still hot, even though it's been unplugged. All right, happy ironing.